Hi everyone, we have this new microphone. Stop. Would you like to say anything? Here, speak into the mic. Speak into the mic. I think they work. Hi everyone, if you're watching, this is my very first YouTube video. I've wanted to have a YouTube channel since I was a kid. My video today is going to be about the books I read in 2024. I read 24 in 2024, and that's as someone who works full time. I know it's a little bit late in the month to be doing a 2024 book recap, but my fiance and I just moved houses, so we've been a little bit busy, and that's going to be my excuse for this late video. I will share with you how I rate my books, and this is in my Goodreads profile bio.
How I rate my 5 stars is this book made me feel things. I enjoyed it very much and would highly recommend reading it based on how it made me feel and or the messaging in it. My 4-star reads are this was a really good book. I enjoyed reading it and would recommend others to read it as well. My 3-star reads this book was okay. I would not jump to recommend it over other books. 2 stars, this book was not enjoyable. I would not recommend reading it. 1 star, this book was either offensive, disturbing, or horrible in some other way. Burn it if you see it. I do not recommend even trying it.
I have all of my hard copies here. Some of them I read via Kindle or audiobook, so I don't have the physical copy. I do need to purchase some of those that I really liked, and some I really did not like, but we'll get into that. I have my laptop here with my Goodreads pulled up so I can kind of look through. So the very first book that I read in 2024 was A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh no. But I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was an awesome intro book to the series. I ended up giving the series as a whole 5 stars. This was a 4-star read for me, but I think it was an excellent introduction to the series. On the ground. The second book I read was actually an audiobook, and it was Hi babe. I'm recording. Okay, go away. You already know these thoughts. I'm just telling an invisible person. Leave me alone. Can you stop talking? I'm literally recording right now. I love you too. The second book that I read last year was Anne of Green Gables, and I read this via audiobook. I gave this a 5-star because I love the TV show Anne with an E, which is why I really wanted to read the classic Anne of Green Gables. I'm not sure if I will continue with the series, only listen to it because it was a near and dear TV show. So that was 5 stars. The next book that I read was the rest of the ACOTAR series, 5 stars. This was the first 5 stars in the series for me. And as you can see, I started tabbing. This is the book that I realized that the series was going to be special to me, that it had a lot of meaningful lessons and sentiments that I really enjoyed. Here we go. This is page 470. I look at you and I feel like I'm dying, like I can't breathe. I'm thinking that I want you so badly I can't concentrate half the time I'm around you. And this room is too small for me to properly. Oop, that is inappropriate. Next, I read A Court of Wings and Ruin, and this was also a 5-star for me. Let's find a random tab. Why are these? I can't read these out loud. It is no waste, I said. One life may change the world. Where would you all be if someone had deemed saving my life to be a waste of time? I pointed to Reese. If he had deemed saving my life under the mountain a waste of time, even if it's only 20 families or 10, they are no waste, not to me or to you. The next one I read, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I gave this 3 stars. I felt like it was fun because I really liked the characters. I thought it was, a fun little hangout with the characters, but not my favorite. The next book was A Court of Silver Flame. I really liked this book. I don't necessarily love the main character. This book is more of a character study of Nesta. This is a dangerous one to randomly read from. I'm worthless and I am nothing, Nesta nearly said. She wasn't sure why the words bubbled up, pressing on her lips to voice them. I hate everything that I am, and I am so, so tired. I am tired of wanting to be anywhere but in my own head. Her character development and story is super beautiful, seeing someone be so horrible and then, The next book I read was Happy Place, which I gave Happy Place 5 stars. This was my first Emily Henry book. I love a good romance as a palate refresher, especially after a long, intense fantasy series. And this quote is from page 105. When suddenly more of my heart belongs to him than doesn't, and I know I'll never get a single grain back. Next, I read Haunting Adeline on the Kindle. I gave this 2 stars, and I have a lot to say. I understand dark romance is a genre a lot of people love, but for how disturbing the topics were, they could have been written so beautifully. But I feel like the way that it was written was very unserious, and it didn't give the topics what they needed to be good. 2 stars. Next, I read Fourth Wing. I gave Fourth Wing 4 stars. My opinions on the first 2 books may cause some controversy, but Onyx Door did just come out and I have it. I'm going to start reading it here soon. I thought it was an awesome story. I love dragons. I love the fantastical element to this world and the connections between each other and the dragons, and it was just super cool. Awesome, 4 stars. But next, I was in a little romance mood. Now, Abby Jimenez is one of my favorite romance authors so far. So I read the first of the series. This is actually the 3rd one. You don't need to read them in order, but some of the characters overlap, and I didn't exactly realize that when I picked this one up. But the first one I gave 5 stars. This, obviously, I gave 5 stars. Okay, this is just kind of a quote from the book to let you know how this romance is making our male main character feel. I was in an uncomfortable hotel bed at a water park. I'm gonna X this next part out for spoilers. Another bad thing happened, okay? And I still smiled myself to sleep. That is so sweet. 5 stars. Next, I read the second book in that 3-book little series. Yours truly, I also give this a 5 stars. Like I said, she's one of my favorite authors. I love how she writes and how her characters are very genuine. I feel like a lot of romance authors, I'm not going to name this one author, but you can probably guess who it is. Their plot lines are good, but their characters and their romance are very shallow. Abby does a good job at in-depth romance characters. Oh, there's one. Let's catch it. It says, I couldn't be his second choice. 5 stars. Next, I read Divine Rivals on the Kindle. This is one that I definitely need to get a hard copy of. I loved these 2 books. It was so beautiful, poetic. It illustrated this romance and this war very well. So I recommend. Next, I read Iron Flame, the 2nd book in the Empyrean series. This is where my opinion might get a little bit controversial. I gave this book 3 stars. I felt while reading this book that a lot of the characters were very stereotypical and a little bit cheesy. While I really do enjoy the plot line and am excited to see what happens next, I do think the characters could benefit from a little development. I found myself rolling my eyes several times. I found myself like knowing what was going to happen or what they were going to say, and not in the way like an ACOTAR where I felt like I was friends with the characters. It was in a way where I've seen this character several times before. 3 stars. Next, which is possibly my favorite book of 2024, was The 7-Year Slip. I picked this up as another romance refresher. This book is so meaningful. This is such a special book. As you can see, so many tabs. Nothing is quite like a Waffle House at 2 in the morning. Next, I audiobooked the first Magnolia Park book. I gave this 3 stars. The relationship was very annoying, toxic. It was entertaining. I liked the drama. I'm not sure if I'll continue with that series. Next, I read Ruthless Vows, the 2nd Divine Rival book. And I gave this 5 stars. Such a beautiful story. I love kind of the old-fashioned romance that they have going on. Next 2 books I listened to via audiobook were the 1st and 2nd Vampire Diaries books, The Awakening and The Struggle. So I audiobooked both of these. I gave them both 3 stars. I really wanted to read them because I did like the TV series. I really kind of wanted to know the original story. You know, they're very elementary level. I would read it in junior high and fall head over heels with it. But now and today, I'm 22, 3 stars. The next book, another Emily Henry. This is Beach Read. I brought this to the beach because I was being super fun. I gave this 4 stars. I think that is a super cute romance. I recommend it. Next, I read The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I gave this first one 5 stars. Thinking back on it, I might change my rating down to a 4 stars. It was good, and there is some good messaging in there, but nothing specifically is sticking with me right in this moment. The next book I read, I think this is the only nonfiction book I read last year, and as you can see, I did my due diligence. This is The Herb Bible by Earl Mindell. I am really fascinated in nature and natural remedies and less chemicals, things like that. And I have a few more books up here that I need to get into on this topic, but I gave this 4 stars, very informative. Let's learn about carrot. Alpha carotene has been shown to suppress the growth of cancerous tumors in animals. Beta carotene may reduce the risk of both cancer and cardiovascular disease. Next thing I read, I listened to the first Hunger Games book. I gave this 5 stars. It was just kind of a nostalgia listen for me. Next book I read is the second of the Cruel Prince series. I read The Wicked King by Holly Black. I gave this 3 stars. Like I said, this series, I haven't read the last one yet, but this wasn't really touching me, sitting with me. And then the last book of the year was the second Hunger Games book via audiobook, Catching Fire. I gave this 5 stars. Again, just listen to it for that nostalgia. I love the movies. I love the story. Before we end the video, I'm going to share my favorite book and my least favorite book of the entire year. So I think my favorite book slot has to go to The 7-Year Slip. If you have not picked up this book, please do. My least favorite was Haunting Adeline. Like I said, for the serious themes, it was just not written very well. The metaphors were very childish. It should have been written better for a dark romance with themes as blatantly disturbing as they were. Okay, be serious. All right, guys, thank you for watching my 2024 reading recap. I love to read, and I hope to make more content about books, about writing. I am writing a book series, and just lifestyle.